Hi there, today's video topic is theme generators, and the reason why you would want to use a theme generator versus modifying your theme file inside of Power BI. So you can update it in here under customize the current theme, but a theme generator gives you more control over more of the visual settings. So there was an update semi-recently, not sure exactly when, that let developers who work on these theme generators access a whole bunch more of the visual properties. So they had access to a few of them before, but now you can pretty much control any part of the different visuals that you want to, any of the formatting settings using the theme generators. And the one that I was going to talk about today is Power BI.tips. And I heard about this through the Portland Power BI user group. So they do presentations, I think it's every other week or once a month, something like that. And this presenter was Reed Havens, and he did a really great presentation on how to improve the user experience of your report. So if that sounds interesting, that's available on YouTube. I can put a link to that in the video description too, because it was a really good presentation. And by the way, the Power BI user group for Portland is open to anyone, and it's remote, so anybody can join it. And you can find it in Google. Maybe I'll put that in the description too while I'm at it. But it's a fun group, so let's hop over to the website. So the URL for this is themes.powerbi.tips, and this is free to use, but you're going to want to use it in a particular way because I did it. So what I did was I set up my theme and then I went to go to save. And if you do that, it tries to get you to sign up for a user account, and then it loses all of the things that you've set up and done when it creates your user account. So don't be me. If you're going to sign up for a user account, you can. You can just download these things. So this download icon here is what you're going to want to use probably. If you try and save them, that's a paid account. Downloading them is free. So if you want to sign up, do that first. Don't do it after you've set up your theme. I'm just going to go through some of the settings that I set. You can set it however you want to, but just to give you an idea if you're unfamiliar. So this asterisk icon here, this one is going to be global properties, so things that affect everything. And the big ones in here that I used were, so I turned off background. I do that just because I like to put shapes under things. And if you have a white background on your visuals and you try and put it on top of a shape that isn't white, it looks kind of lame. And let's see, the grid. So grids, you can turn off. And I think they have yep, they've got the horizontal and the vertical separate. So flip those off. I always turn off grid lines on charts and things because there's a tooltip, a hover tooltip, and virtually nobody is, at least I don't, ever looking at the actual axis labels. They're just hovering on the different parts of the visual to see the numbers that they want to read. And grid layout here has, nope, that doesn't have anything. So map settings, I always turn on auto zoom. If you don't turn on auto zoom and your data is skewed to a particular region, it will zoom all the way out to the entire Earth every time, and then people have to zoom in themselves. So I like to turn on auto zoom and then set the map to where I want it. And I like to make one of these themes and then reuse it in multiple reports, just keeps things consistent. And map styles, I like to set these on grayscale just so that the color of the map doesn't distract from the data. And what else do we have here? So you can set your text size for all of the like text boxes and stuff in here. The one thing that I did notice is that they're missing the semi-bold font in a lot of these, which is frustrating because that's the one I use for like titles and things. So x-axis, I like to, again, turn off grid lines. And you probably don't have to turn off grid lines in every single section. I just did because I really don't like grid lines. So it seems like it really wants you to set the font family for most of these. I tried just setting it in a couple of the global styles and then importing it, and then it ended up with the DIN font in a few places. So I just have been specifying it in each of the font family boxes. And I think the second one here is for the axis title. and this one is for the axis values. They don't have a label differentiator there. And I like to turn off, what is this x-axis? I like to turn off the title on the x-axis as I'm scrolling up and down here, probably making you all dizzy. So turn off the title. And I mean, this is one of those things that's personal preference. So I usually tell people what is going on in the visual and the title of the visual. So I feel like the X and Y axis titles are redundant. The Y axis, so I turn off the grid lines again here and turn off the, I actually leave off the entire Y axis with the label numbers, the value numbers on it, just because again, tooltips are a big thing just visually. So sometimes I'll leave it on, sometimes I'll leave it off, depends, and turn off the title. And then in the other biggie is the card visuals. So both the single value and multi-value card, I have a tendency to use this multi-row card for single values and for multiple rows. So if, just because I like the accent bar, I feel like the accent bar adds and the left alignment too is nice. So what I do is I set this show bar to true, and then I select my first theme color in here. Actually, this is the second theme color. And then I usually tone down the font size a little bit. So for me, the data label size is a bit big by default, so I usually tone it down to about 20. And same thing for this single row card here. And I couldn't find, so tables, I usually set tables to the minimal preset, but I couldn't find that option in the settings in here. I think maybe the presets aren't available for whatever reason, so just FYI. Slicers. So for these, I like to turn off this multi-select with control. So what this does is if you have a multi-select slicer, people won't have to hold control down when they're trying to select multiple, and probably more than half of people can't figure out that they need to hold down control. So that's a good setting to toggle off. And I like to have the select all option on. And single select is situational, so. And then the visual header, so these are the little ellipses menu icon area things, and I usually turn these off for slicers and cards both. So I'm going to turn it off for this, and then I'm going to turn it off for cards also. I think I already have it off in here. So visual header, yeah, these are all off. And actually, I think you can just toggle them all off with this show off, but I went through and clicked these off. So, all right, I'm going to download this, and then I'm going to go back to my PBIX and load one of the defaults themes so you can see the difference between the two. So, okay, so we're back to my report, and I have loaded the default theme for Power BI. So you can see the grid lines are on. The font is the DIN font, and this is what things look like. If I go to import the theme, it's in the View tab up here and this little drop-down menu, and go to Browse for Themes and get this one that I just saved. Here we go. So we've imported it, and we can reuse this. We can use this in existing reports, and we can reuse it in future reports. And you can actually, if you load this into your PBIT, the template Power BI file, then it'll just be in there automatically, and you can reuse it that way. So hope this saves you some time and some many clicks through all of your settings options and your visuals, and have a great day.